Welcome back, and in this short video we're going to have a look at stealing, or rather borrowing or appropriating things. So by this I don't mean sampling, although that definitely comes into it, but I'm going to do this video assuming that you don't want to break the law and sample music. There are other things we can do with modern technology that means we can take inspiration and influence from pieces of audio without actually using them and getting into the moral dilemma of whether we should just because we can. Let's assume that we don't want to do that. So I've taken a sample of some capoeira drumming. And in this case, I'm going to say that I'm very interested in this piece of percussion. It has a cool swing to it. But I don't want to just take this piece of music without asking. I want to add it to my club track. Here's a clubbish kind of beat. So I want to layer this quite simple electronic beat with something nice and organic from this sample. So there's a few steps we'll take, and I thought this would be a good opportunity to show you some techniques that might be worth going over. The first thing we're going to do is warp this sample so that it fits into the grid. I want this to be 1 bar long. And in fact, I'm going to cut that out so that we know what we're working with. And the next thing I'm going to do is put it into repitch mode so that no actual warping is happening, no processing. We're just changing the speed of playback to match the tempo. Now, we can clearly see that this is an important hit in this rhythm. And that where this berimbau starts playing is maybe the end of this phrase. So we can deduce that this is not remotely in the correct tempo. I want it to play at 100, but this clearly isn't that. I'm going to just simply grab where I think the next downbeat starts and drag it to the next downbeat in my grid, so the second bar. Close. Interesting, this isn't falling on the 3 or the 2. Let's see what that might sound like in context. Awesome. So I've now got a polyrhythmic structure, if you heard that. This is hitting in a different place to the snare. I'm happy. So I've now got a beat, and yeah, it could be that I just went ahead with this, but like I said, let's obey the law. I want to take influence from this. I don't want to steal it. So what I'm going to do is convert this clip, as it is now, into a new MIDI track. Nice and simple. So what I should have is, well, not a particularly successful rendition of that. Let's listen to that. So one thing we notice is that Live has been quite clever with the actual timing. This seems very exact. As you can see, it's worked out that this hit sits here, which isn't remotely on the grid. It hasn't been very clever with the pitch of the drums it's hearing, so we might need to maybe help it along here. I'm going to drag this down to the kick. That kind of sounds similar. Let's lose our capoeira drums and let's think about what kind of sound we want here. I like the percussive element of it, so I'm going to go into my library and I know that I have some taiko drums. Of course, we could do anything, but today I'm going to use that. And I might need to move some things around. Find a snare kind of sound for this. That could do it. And maybe a kind of hi-hat or percussive sound for this. So we have and these are a bit too quiet. Let's turn them up. And finally, I feel that this is a bit long on the release. I'll change the release of this and copy that value to the siblings in this rack. Bit too short. From here, I might copy this across to some other layers. Let's mix this in finally with my beat. I'm going to duplicate this loop. And let's see what we've ended up with. Nice, without the stolen drums or borrowed drums. And with. So we'll end here, and I encourage you to think of where you might be influenced by percussively and go and grab some of that audio by whatever means necessary. And instead of just using it and whatever that could entail, to convert it to MIDI by doing what we did here, finding out the different kind of colors and flavors this can add to your productions. I'll catch you next time. Have fun.